Hello, and welcome to the first video in our new and improved math flipped classroom. Because you will now be taking notes from videos and PowerPoints at home, it's very important that you know how to take good notes. This gets more and more important as you move through middle school, high school, college, and even as you go out and work in your job. First, you need to make a decision about where you will keep your notes, where they'll be in one place, easily accessible, that you can use during class and at home. There are many options available, but let's talk about three viable choices: a composition notebook, a spiral notebook, and using your iPad with the app Notability. My top choice would be the composition notebook. I like it because it's more durable than the spiral notebook. Durable means the pages won't fall out as easily and the cover won't come apart. If you don't have a composition notebook available, they cost about 75 cents at Walmart, you can use a spiral notebook instead. Notability is another option using your iPad. If you choose this option, please make sure you also know how to take paper pencil notes. Right now, the chances of having a school-provided iPad at Falcon Middle School or at Falcon High School are very slim. I will focus on note-taking in the composition notebook, but at the end of this video, there will be a quick tutorial of how to set up notes in Notability. Now you need to decide, what should I write with? Pencils, mechanical pencils, pens, or markers? Because this is math, you should be taking notes in either pencil or mechanical pencil. Use a highlighter to make vocabulary words stand out. You can use markers, thin ones, or colored pencils to make other important facts stand out. But be careful not to make your notes confusing by using too many colors. And never, never, never use a Sharpie marker on the pages of your notebook. The ink will bleed through to the back of the page and the pages following. Once you've decided on your notebook, go ahead and label it with the subject, math, of course, with your first and last name. You might want to even put the initials of your school somewhere on it in case you leave it at a restaurant or to practice. A kind person might pick it up and turn it back into the front office of the school. That would be very helpful because you are not going to want to be without this notebook for the remainder of the school year. On the very first page of your composition notebook, you will want to label on the top blue line the words Table of Contents. To the left of the red line, 2 lines below Table of Contents, you're going to put page number, and then across from that you're going to write the word Topic. This is where you're going to keep track of each of your assignments, and it's going to make it easy for you to flip back and forth in order to be able to find your notes when you're studying for a test or working on a project. Now you're ready to organize the note-taking section of your notebook. From the first page labeled Table of Contents, go ahead and skip 2 pages. This will give you plenty of room to expand the table of contents with all the notes you'll be taking over the next quarter. On the third page at the bottom, begin numbering 1, 2, 3, and so on. Be sure and number both the front and the back of each note-taking page. Back to page 1, on the top blue line, write the word Notes, N-O-T-E-S, and underline the word. Now you're ready to begin taking notes. Congratulations, your notebook is now set up and we're ready to begin filling it in. Go ahead and start with your table of contents. We're going to work today on page number 1, so to the left of the red line, write page number 1, and under the word Topics, on the right of the red line, on the same line as your number 1, you're going to write the words How to Take Notes. Go ahead and stop the recording now and take care of that. Your table of contents should look very similar to the picture on the left. Now we're ready to go over to page number 1 and begin taking notes. Under the word Date, to the left of the red line, you're going to write today's date, which is 4/7/14. To the right of the red line, on the same line as the date, you're going to write the topic title, How to Take Notes. Skip a line, and under that you're going to write L period O period. In parentheses, you're going to explain that that is the learning objective, and I went ahead and highlighted the L and the O to help that stand out for me. So you may be asking yourself, what is a learning objective? Learning objective is a statement, which is a sentence, that tells you specifically what knowledge or skills you should be able to use following the lesson. Learning objectives in our class usually begin with the words, I can. You always want to start your notes off with the learning objective. It helps you focus in on why you're taking the notes and what you're going to be able to do with those notes following the instruction. If there is not a learning objective already stated at the beginning of the video that you watch, you might need to go back afterwards and create your own. This can be done fairly easily. Here's today's LO, or learning objective. I've written it down for you. You can copy it. I can learn to take notes that I can use. This is going to be very important as we move forward with the flipped classroom, that you are able to actually use your notes, because you're going to take those in the next day's activity to complete your assignments, along with a weekly project. Following this slide, the notes will be set up more similar to what you will see in your nightly homework. Go ahead and take the notes in your composition notebook to your best of your ability. Remember that you can always stop whenever you need to, go back, revisit things. That's a great part of having this at home. You don't have to wait on anybody else. You can move at your own pace. Tomorrow in class, we will talk about your notes. I'll check each of your notebooks, make some suggestions, give you some kudos if you've done a good job. Good luck. California author and high school teacher Jim Burke said, "Students who don't take notes well won't use them." He also changed the term note-taking into note-making. Before you begin a note-making session, ask yourself these 3 very important questions. How do you decide what's important? What are you going to use these notes for? How can you make the information stick in your mind? Here are some suggestions for taking notes from a lecture, video, or PowerPoint. Before you begin, enter the page number and topic on the table of contents page. Then move to your notes page, date the entry on the notes page, and rewrite the topic. Skip lines between topics or ideas so you can scan the page more easily later. Take down keywords and concepts, not entire sentences. The great thing about the flipped classroom is you can slow yourself down and work at your own pace. This is not going to be the case when you get into a lecture situation at Falcon Middle School, Falcon High School, or in college. Remember, we talked about how college professors are not going to slow down and wait for you to get every word they say. They're going to keep talking. So now is a good time to get in the habit of looking for keywords and concepts and leaving out some of the smaller words that are not important. You also want to develop your own system of abbreviations or symbols to take down key points, kind of like a shorthand system. You can use the chart in the next slide to help you, or you can create your own abbreviations. Just make sure you know what they mean. Take a few minutes on this page and see which of the symbols abbreviations you think you would most use in your notes. I would copy those down in your notes, the symbol, along with the explanation of what it stands for. Use as much time as you need. This is only going to help you more, especially when you get into a lecture situation. Take down as many or as few as you think you'll need. In a lecture situation, you're going to want to listen for word clues. Here are several that you might come across. There are 3 reasons why. And guess what? Right after that, the instructor is going to give you those 3 reasons. First, second, third. When you hear the words "and most important," you will definitely want to write those down. Or when you hear major development, especially if you're taking notes in a history class. In a PowerPoint or a video, you're going to watch for highlighted words or words that are written in bold print. Major sections are usually shown with headings. This is a good help for you. You can write those headings down and then your notes underneath. Examples are very important to write down, especially in math. You're going to want to refer to those as you're working other problems that are similar. Finally, you want to review your notes to make sure they're accurate and complete. It's not going to be as important taking notes in the flipped classroom because you're going to be able to go at your own speed. However, when you're in a regular classroom, especially if you're taking lecture-style notes, after class or in the evening, you're going to want to go back, make sure that your notes make sense, that you understand what you've written, and maybe add or highlight anything that you think is important.